What is good? What is poppin', everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Today, I got something a little special for you. This is a PTR data mine for New World as of, today, the 11/10. Now, as you guys might know, if you guys didn't know, the PTR is like a public test realm that New World has announced and launched essentially. It came out today around 1 p.m. PT, so about 7-ish hours ago. Now, it was supposed to be out at 12, but there were some issues with it, and there's still some issues here. I've had some queue bugs where I haven't even been able to play the game. I got in like 15 minutes after it finally launched, and I was stuck at a 33 queue bug for hours, and then I got down to 1, and I was stuck to that for like 2 hours, and I relaunched, and so it's been kind of a bit of a hiccup. I know some people can't play. There's been freezes and stuff and crashes, but nonetheless, I kind of expected this kind of to happen for the first day of the PTR. It is New World after all, and what's New World without some bugs? But it does seem some good stuff has come out of this PTR so far, and there's a bunch of data mine stuff. So I talked about this in my last video because of the Void Gauntlet data mine stuff and how accurate it was. So this stuff, I'm kind of starting to believe that the data mine stuff is pretty accurate. Now, obviously, maybe not all this stuff is going to get into the game. Maybe some of the stuff is going to come sooner rather than later. We don't know exactly the dates and stuff yet, but this is just kind of files that exist in the game that we can find. Now, shout out to M4RX for posting this. I'm going to leave a link for this in the description below, but we're going to get into it, talk about it. It's some pretty exciting stuff, and I think you guys are going to be pretty happy about it. So before we get into it, though, you already know if you are enjoying this, make sure that thumbs up button helps me out a lot. Let you know you enjoy this kind of content. Subscribe if you haven't already. We got a really great community going on over here, and we got a lot to come, so why not be part of the family? With all that being said, guys, let's get right in the video. All right, so like I said, this is going to be a New World PTR data mine as of today, 11/10. This was posted about 6 hours ago, and it's kind of been updated a little bit since it's been posted, so we're going to go over it. I've kind of read it through it, and there's some pretty awesome stuff, so I want to go over it with you guys. It was enough for me to want to make a video on it. There's some more stuff, some other like data mine links that we can find that I'm going to probably compile up into one video here soon with the rest of them, but this is a big enough one to do probably its own video one. Now, starting off, it says lots of cleanup and development content, Brimstone Sands, Isabel's Lair, and Arandius Caverns expedition. So it seems like the extra content they're going to be getting with the expeditions and territories and stuff, it's kind of just starting to get finalized. So that's pretty cool. Looks like it might be coming out soon. You can no longer place camps and invasions. Kind of interesting. I don't know how big of an impact that's going to play. We're going to have to kind of find out. Twitch company crest and armor dice coming soon. That's kind of cool. I think it's cool that there's just more stuff being out of the game. I wonder if it is locked behind Twitch clans or groups in general, or if you can kind of get these without being part of a Twitch community or something. So we're going to have to see. Hopefully it's not too gatekeepy. Lots of tracking for anti-bot and gold selling measures. As we know, that's been a big problem. I mean, trading was literally shut down because of this stuff. So it's always good that we got kind of implementations for stopping bots and gold farming and stuff. There's a new partial ban penalty. Again, it's kind of vague, so I'm not really sure what that means. But again, partial ban, I'm assuming that means that like maybe you can't do certain stuff rather than, being completely out of the game. We're gonna have to see. There's some new emotes coming into the store: nose blow, cry, chest pound, fish shake, firework 1 through 5, leg dance, cold, belly laughing, gift. Pretty cool. It's always fun to get a little bit more expressive stuff in the game to be kind of, make it feel alive. Moving on, this is where it starts to get really interesting. The Greatsword is being worked on. Now, as you can see, most of the stuff is going to start with the code saying javelin data _ and going on. Now, this says that there's a Greatsword data sheet. That just means that the Greatsword essentially has been put into the game. We don't have any real leaks about the Greatsword and abilities yet and stuff like that, but it's in the game, so hopefully it might be coming soon. That's really awesome. I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of weird that I don't see the Greatsword already in the game. It's kind of a staple in MMOs, but nonetheless, I'm excited that it's coming finally. Now, the Blunderbuss has new weapon effects. As we know before, the Blunderbuss was something that was essentially data mined before, along with the Void Gauntlet and pistols and stuff. Now, I'm a little confused by this because like I said, I read a little bit ahead before I did this, so I kind of understood for the video. But it says Blunderbuss has new weapon effects, and it says weapon effect ID Blunderbuss. Cool. But then if you could read down here, it says scripts, weapon effects, weapon effect default, and then it goes down here and says musket, weapon effect, fire, musket, weapon effect, like arcane, void, lightning, ice, nature. These are all from musket, so I'm kind of confused. It says Blunderbuss has new weapon effects, but then it says musket. So I wonder if this is some miscommunication, or if it is new stuff for the musket. It'd be pretty cool if this was for the musket. I think the musket's a little bit lackluster, so adding some different kind of elemental stuff to it would be cool. But again, this is kind of, all this stuff is a little vague, but it's just kind of showing what's in the game, what could be coming out soon. Moving on to new random encounters. Again, a javelin data _ to start it off, but this is a random encounters, and there's holiday events. For random encounters, I'm assuming that means open world events to some degree, whether it's like open, bosses or like PvE events that we can do, like some sort of variation on the portals and stuff like that. Super excited about that. Adding more to the open world is always fun. Upcoming holiday events. Now, this is something that a lot of us were wondering about. Like, we thought that there was something coming with Halloween with the skins that were coming out, but as we can see, there was no Halloween event. But it does seem that there might be some holiday stuff in the future, whether that's Thanksgiving or Christmas. Maybe it doesn't come till 2022. We don't know, but it does show that there is for sure holiday events to some degree in the game. Now, I really am excited for hopefully like a Christmas event. That'd be really fun. Some cool skins, maybe PvE or PvP mode, something like that. I think that'd be really cool. I love it when games do add more events, whether it's holidays or just like random new kind of events that last for like a week or two that are kind of fun. They change up the pace of the game, add some new stuff and stuff. So that'd be cool. Now moving on, increase territory standing from 1 to 1.25. Now I don't know how much this is going to affect the game. Territory standing, once you hit like 35, 40 in an area, it's kind of starts becoming not trivial, right? It's really hard to level up. I think the cap is like 200, but I don't even know if anyone's ever hit 200. If you have, let me know down below. That'd be pretty weird if you did. That'd pretty crazy. I've never heard of that, but 200 is the max, but this 1 to 1.25%, it essentially might help out a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know how integral this is going to be. Territory standing seems pretty mundane, and I don't know, maybe it's even broken once it hits around 40. It's just gets so slow and so grindy to get to it that you kind of just don't even care about it. You only really care to get to 30 so you can buy the $20,000 house in a territory. Now moving on, they're increasing the amount of XP level for all trade skills. This is really huge. I don't understand this all the way. Now, I've seen a few people talk about this and wonder about it, but essentially the weaponsmithing level 1, it takes from 100 to 120 level up. Okay, nothing crazy, but weaponsmithing level to 200, so from 199 to 200. So 199 to 200 right now, and on live is only 43,000 experience. On the PTR, it's 176,000. That is more. That is almost 4 times. No, that's more than 4 times, right? Roughly around 4 times as much XP to get from 199 to 200. If you think like trade skills grinding was already hard and grindy, this kind of increases it even more. I'm curious if this is correct numbers. Maybe it's and it has an extra 0. Maybe it actually got nerfed. I don't know. Like it's just, that's really high. I don't know their whole direction with that or why they're doing it, but that's going to be really. So if you are wanting to grind out your weaponsmithing, I'd get it to 200 before this kind of comes into play, because that's 4 times as hard to get to it. It also says increasing XP award for leveling up. Again, that's cool. That essentially, from my understanding, that means that when you level up a trade skill, you get, a certain amount of XP. So that only matters up until you hit 60. So once you hit 60, it doesn't really matter, which is cool, but it's fine. Moving on, some balance changes. Now, again, this is all kind of up in the air. This is just kind of baseline. This is all subject to change, but I just wanted to, bring it to you guys. But this is some pretty cool stuff. We got some balance changes for the sword. The leaping strike goes down from 25 to 18, so a 7-second differentiate there. Warhammer Mighty Gavel down by 2 seconds, not the craziest. Hatchet rending throw down almost half. That's pretty crazy, 15 to 8 seconds. Rending throw, I think, is the only one that people really use. It's the healing reduction one, so that's actually a really big buff. The musket, power shot CD down 3 seconds, shooter stance down by 2 seconds, and stopping power down by 3 seconds. These are all nice. I don't know if this is enough for the musket, though. The musket doesn't really seem to be performing well. I've talked about this in a couple other videos. It's just not as good, and it's kind of lackluster as far as range DPS, especially when you compare to something like the fire staff and ice collar. It's just really lackluster. I really would have loved the musket. Do not get me wrong. It was the weapon I used during closed beta, and I loved it. And I want to use it. It's just really hard to kind of use it outside of just for fun. If you're trying to be competitive, PvP or stuff like that, it's just hard because it's just not good enough, in my opinion. Moving on to the bow. Now the bow, I think, it still needs a buff for sure, not as nearly as much as the musket, but the bow is in a right hands. It's decent. It's not good. But it's pretty decent. Now the bow rapid shot CD down from 20 seconds to 14 seconds. Poison shot CD from 35 to 30. See, this is a bigger buff. This rapid shot is pretty huge, right? That's a 7-second differential. That's a third almost down. That's a pretty big buff. Good to see that. Rapier slash 11 seconds to 6 seconds, and riposte 20 to 12. Now the riposte is huge. I don't know about you guys. Riposte is like one of the best things about the rapier. It's really skill oriented. It has a lot of risk versus reward. It's like really good. And it already, to me, doesn't seem like it has long CD, because you can get the perk to auto attacks reduce your CDs by like 1%. And so it's not like I thought it was too high of a cooldown, and now it's 12 seconds. I think it's going to be up all the time. That's a huge buff for Rapier. And then the slash, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're talking about the Tondo, which would be weird that they didn't call it Tondo, because I can't think of any other ability that's like a slash other than Tondo. It's down from, and I think Tondo has an 11-second cooldown. If it goes down to 6 seconds, that's huge. That actually might make Tondo and Flourish and Finish like work, and that'd be really awesome. That's kind of, I really want that playstyle to work, but it's too hard to stack your bleed and stuff. So this is a really great change. This plus the Void Gauntlet is huge. I'm thinking about running the Void Gauntlet Rapier if I can try it out. That sounds really fun to me. Really great buffs for the Rapier overall. Ice Gauntlet actually seems to be getting a nerf. One of the only weapons that actually has been getting a nerf, and it's going from 20 seconds to 30 seconds for the cooldown of Ice Shower. Now, Ice Gauntlet, as we know, once it actually works properly, it is really strong. So I can kind of see this. I don't know how much of an impact this is to me. That's like it's a 10-second increase. That's like a 50% increase to what it already was. So that's pretty high. But we're just gonna have to see exactly how much of a nerf this is and how hard this tanks Ice Gauntlet. I still think Ice Gauntlet's gonna be incredibly strong. Lifestaff second ground, cast instance up by 5 meters, duration down by 3 seconds. So it's kind of a trade-off. You get to cast it farther, but it lasts not as long. Pretty good. Future me here, and I found some extra stuff with this data mines regarding the lifestaff and a couple other things, and I just wanted to add this in. I think I'm adding it in right where we talked about the lifestaff in the other posts, so we're talking about it here. These are some pretty hefty nerfs. It looks like it's coming. Sacred Ground, Beacon, Blissful Touch, Light's Embrace, and Divine Embrace all being nerfed 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, 30%. Huge nerfs here. We have a nerf here by 20% for the Orb of Protection's Protector's Blessing. We're down 50% for the Sacred Ground's Holy Ground Stamina Regen. There's a very slight buff with Splash of Light from 50 to 60%. It's about a 20% healing buff with that. And Splash of Light's Shared Recovery, 5% mana restored for people under 50% health, and Light's Embrace Connection increased from 1% mana per buff to 2%. These buffs highly do not outweigh the nerfs. These nerfs are huge. They are monumental. I don't know how. I think the lifestaff is pretty strong. It's probably the strongest weapon in the game. You could slot it with anything as a secondary weapon, even if you don't put any focus into it, and it's just really strong. So I think it needs a nerf. This is quite a hefty nerf. This is nerfing pretty much every single ability by 20% at least, and that's pretty strong. That's pretty bad. That's a pretty strong nerf. That's a really strong nerf pad. So I'm wondering how much of this is fully going to go through. Now, obviously, all this stuff is through the PTR, and we're testing it. So maybe turns out that it's way too many nerfs, and they change it. Maybe it's not enough, and they nerf it even more. But not either way, that's a really huge nerf. Some extra little stuff added on here. It says light armor now gives 30% healing done instead of 20, and medium armor gives 15 instead of 10. So it seems like they really want to make healers be in light armor. I don't think this really compensates this extra 10% compared to all these nerfs here, but it does definitely help a little bit. But you have to be in light armor. I think they're trying to sway away from paladin builds where you have a great axe or warhammer with the healing, the life staff. So that seems like the realm where we're trying to go into. They want to make sure that healers are light staff, they're squishy, and they're easy to kill, so we can actually target the healers and actually kill them. I'm sure you guys might have seen some stuff on Reddit or Twitter or whatever social media where it's like the healers just like, you just need to target the healers, and then you do, and they can take 4, 5, 6 people on at once because they have heavy armor, and they don't die. So these nerfs, I don't know if they're all needed, but definitely warranted some nerfs for the lifestaff. This might be a little too much, but we're gonna have to see. Anyway, back onto the other post. Just wanted to chime in here for future me to show you guys this one. And before I go this down here, this is just Void Gauntlet stuff and this guy's opinion that wrote this post. I'm gonna do a full Void Gauntlet video here after I play test and kind of see my opinion on the matter and some more numbers. So that's where that's coming from. Just know that that's the rest of the post is all about that. Anyway, moving on. Greatsword offense attack, 5 stamina, slow status effect, -0.01 to 0.05. I don't know. The Greatsword we don't have a lot for yet, so this is kind of up in the air. I think he just put it in here just to show that he could find this, but the Greatsword, at least I haven't seen any kind of data mine other than the fact that it exists. Now moving on, this is pretty cool. This is all mutators are being worked on for dungeons, it looks like. So as we can see here, it says dungeon Amaranth difficulty, dungeon at Eden Grove, Reek Water, and Evanscale Reach. I'm assuming there's going to be for all dungeons, including a Lazarus Instrumentality and stuff, because that's like the end game dungeon. I'd be surprised if they didn't add some sort of mutations for that, especially considering that's where people get a lot of their high watermark drops and stuff. but it's cool nonetheless. Essentially, if you want to think of mutations as like mythic and mythic pluses in World of Warcraft, if you're familiar with that, essentially just means the dungeon is difficult, or there's some different variations or ways to go about the dungeon. So it adds variety, a little bit more difficulty, and usually with this stuff, it comes out with getting better gear or higher, luck or something like that. So maybe they're increasing the gear score soon, and they want to make it so this is a way for you to grind up to the next gear score. We're gonna have to see, but this is really cool. I know a lot of people are wanting this to come into the game, so I'm glad this seems to be coming soon, or at least I shouldn't say soon. Let me take that back. It's coming to the game at some point. Moving on, these are some store items. This armor set, the Autumn King, actually you can see right now on Twitch Prime on the gaming for like rewards. The Autumn King, they kind of showed this picture, so that's coming soon, I think. And then there's another Autumn King set that's coming later in November. This is cool. It's cool. It's like a little woodsy. I don't know how much I love about the headpiece. It's like thematic, sure, but I kind of like the nature folly kind of vibe that the armor gets. I don't know how I feel about the headset. Moving on, there's a classic RPG Bard, Rogue, and Wizard. I think these are really cool. They really like pay homage to old school RPGs and stuff like that. I really like the way they look. My favorite is actually probably the Rogue. I like the hat the Bard has. I just think Bards are always fun, but I really like the hood and the leather that the Rogue looks like. The Wizard's one's okay, but overall I just think it's cool. I'm wondering if they're going to add more stuff like, like a tank or something like that. Moving on, there's a Harvester one, Scarecrow. It looks pretty cool. A little kind of lacking as far as like design kind of oomph, but it's pretty cool. Now this one is really cool, the Royal Court Heavy. I just think that the gold and stuff on it is super cool looking. I like the jewels and the color scheme. I really like this one. Now it does say Royal Court Heavy, so I'm assuming this is only for heavy. And then this is Royal Court Medium, and then there's Royal Court Light. The medium one is probably my least favorite actually out of these three. I don't like the half masks. The actual like armor and hood is fine. It's cool. It's nice, but compared to like this one that's all like decked out in gold and this really crazy cool headpiece, same thing with this one. This has a really cool headpiece. I like the little red kind of tasseled shoulder piece, and then the little spike part, and then you have this. It's still cool, but I like the heavy and the light personally a little bit more. And then it does seem that there are some camp skins coming out to the game. Now this says December 2021, so I'm assuming that's probably around the time we might be seeing these kind of stuff. There's this one here, this one, and this one. I think this one's my favorite. It looks kind of really like a war camp to me. It reminds me a lot of a war camp. These are still pretty cool, but it's overall, I think it's an awesome addition to the game that we have some more personalization when it comes to camps and stuff. It's just fun. It makes it a little bit more expressive. It's cool. And then there's going to be a royal decor set for your house, so to make yourself look a little bougie. So if you want that, I'm assuming this is probably going to be around the 25,000 mark, like the Halloween one was. So look out for that. Overall, this is some pretty cool stuff. Again, this is all data mined. So at some point, these all files did exist in the game, and some of these seem to be pretty new, considering that we only did find them once we went onto the PTR, and there was a new kind of version of the game out, and that's when we found these. Whether or not these come ever or sooner or later, we don't know. I'm assuming some of these are actually coming pretty soon. I would imagine the Greatsword and Blunderbuss are coming soon. We saw the camp skins are coming pretty soon. We know the weapon balance changes are coming soon. They actually made an official post talking about that in the dev corner, saying that they are doing weapon balance changes soon, so I'd probably say this is coming pretty soon. The dungeon mutations might be a little bit farther out, and then the the store items and stuff, this is coming soon, we know. And as far as these, we don't know for sure the release date, but they're probably coming soon. And you guys, I think that's gonna do it. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff, what you guys are excited about, what you think is for sure happening, what you want to see come first, what are you not so excited for. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Let me know all your concerns, everything down below. I'd love to talk to you guys about this. If you did enjoy this, make sure that thumbs up button lets me know you enjoy this kind of content. It helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said, we got a really great community growing on over here, and so why not be part of the family? I think that's going to do, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and until next time, take it easy.